Thank you for diving in. This is The Deep End on BVC Radio with your hosts, DJ POOL, the music aficionado,
and KRONO, the storyteller from the deep. I collect stories from an underwater cavern,
and I create playlists in relation to the tale. It's a lot harder than you think.
Last week's story was about two fearsome pirate crews, the Solo Armada and the Siren's Curse.
Pretty much it was who was a part of the cruise, how they met each other, and a callback to an older story character.
This week is the story of a marine biologist that discovers a legendary artifact of the sea and uncovers the truth about the lab she's been working for.
So what's this lady's name?
Wendy Tidal.
To what?
Tidal. Tidal.
I'm pretty sure that spells title.
It says here it's pronounced Tidal.
First your name, and now this. We really need to talk about your grammar, Kraken.
I've told you countless times, it's KRONO.
Whatever you say. Just get to the story.
Fine. We start the tale with Wendy Tidal.
Zip it.
As I was saying, we start with Wendy Tidal in a research lab, doing experiments on sea life.
Let me guess. She uses chemicals to genetically modify them, only to accidentally break the tank and turn her into a fish hybrid?
No. She uses more humane experiments, like playing around with different types of feed to see what the fish prefer. Anyway, she is only an intern, so often she is not allowed to conduct any intense research, only simple experiments.
Does she hate it?
While the work is simplistic, she finds it enjoyable, and over time, she developed a special bond with some of the test subjects. However, some of the sea life she cares for gets sent to a higher up for more intense experiments, like when they took an electric eel she looked after to conduct an experiment to turn it from a freshwater to a saltwater fish.
That sounds oddly familiar. Carry on.
One day, a very important person came to the lab, the head researcher Kevin, known for his amazing breakthroughs. He went around the lab inspecting the different researchers' experiments. When he came across Wendy, he was completely infatuated with her. He thought she was brilliant and deserved to be made a full researcher, so he gave her a higher position. And so, she was able to do more intensive research, and after months of experiments and documentation, she set off to do an expedition to uncover the phenomenon of the marine life around the Mariana Trench.
Is this really the time for a Muppets reference?
What are you talking about?
You know, phenomenon. Do. Anyway, so what's the phenomenon?
Of all the fish she's taken care of as an intern, the ones from the Mariana Trench show an alarmingly high IQ, but whenever she tried to bring this up to one of the other researchers, they shut her down and thought she was making things up.
Why would she want to work in there in the first place?
Despite her talent and degree, no one wanted to hire her as a full researcher, so she was only able to become a unpaid intern for the company.
Wait. Unpaid? How'd she make money then?
She didn't. She had to sleep in her car, use the showers and laundromat in the lab. Luckily for her, though, there was mandatory food in the cafeteria. But it didn't change how terrible she felt living like this. So when she was given the higher position and making a decent paycheck, she immediately purchased a nice apartment, a well-stocked fridge, and proper clothing. She was very content with her new life with her boyfriend.
Boyfriend? Who?
Kevin, since he was the only one in the lab that made her feel appreciated.
Well, that's sweet.
So then, she set out on her expedition to research the marine life in the area. When she got there, she had difficulty finding any signs of marine life, so she donned her scuba gear and dove down into the deep end. I can't believe I just did that.
Seems you're afflicted with the curse.
Whatever. So she swam deeper and still couldn't find any marine life, so she went back to her boat to use her submarine instead.
What color?
It says it's yellow.
Good.
Anyway, so with it, she went deeper and deeper.
Did she go so deep she found an underwater kingdom and then an ocean goddess?
No, the submarine wasn't able to go that deep. She only made it about a few thousand feet. However, she was able to finally find some marine life. For hours, she did simple experiments to gauge their intelligence, and her tests came back positive. With all the proof she needed, she was ready to resurface. However, in the time it took her to study, her submarine ran out of power, stranding her. With how deep she was, she would be crushed by the pressure if she tried to swim out.
So how'd she make it out of almost certain death?
The fish, seeing her situation, swam away and came back with a large red crystal sphere. The fish swirled around the sphere, and it created a reverse whirlpool, shooting her submarine all the way up to the surface. She immediately hopped out of her submarine and looked back down to the whirlpool, but it had already dissipated. She was about to head back to the boat, but she noticed something floating to the surface, the sphere. She looked past it to see a fish waving at her, and then swimming back down into the trench.
That sounds a bit weird.
She did think it was weird, but she didn't dwell on it for too long, for she was too infatuated with the sphere. She inspected it, wondering what the significance it was to the fish. But that's when the captain of the boat came by to check on her. She hid the sphere, wanting to research it more before exposing it to the others. When she returned to the lab, she immediately got to experimenting with the orb. Through many weeks, she got nowhere. It just seemed like a large gem. She thought it might just be a valuable jewel, so she was about to finish up her day by feeding the fish as usual, but after she gave them some food, the fish thanked her, freaking her out. She started talking to the fish, and it talked back to her. So she had a conversation with them for a while, and it told her the orb is the sacred pearl of the ocean goddess, MM, which allows her to communicate with fish and control the motion of the ocean.
Is that not the same as controlling water?
Not quite. It allows the direction of water to be redirected, so if the water is completely still, it does nothing. But it could be used to extend a wave's length, or create whirlpools, but the strength of the redirection depends on the strength of the motion.
So what'd she do with it?
Well, not only is she a gifted researcher, she is also an avid surfer, so she affixed the jewel to her surfboard and tested it. She realized quickly it was not easy to use the orb's power, as she wiped out many, many times. But over the course of a few months, she slowly improved her abilities so she was able to make a steady wave. Though she made great progress, she was still hesitant to reveal the gem to others. But one day, on one of her nights of surfing, Kevin watched her and took note of how unnatural the waves around her were. So when she came back to shore, he asked her if she knew what was going on, and she wasn't sure if she should tell him or not. But after a short while, she settled on telling him everything, since he was very trustworthy.
Perfect place to stop, 'cause it's playlist time. I think I have a more balanced playlist this time, so upcoming is Bad Day by Daniel Powter, Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, and Wipeout by the Surfaris. In the Deep End on BVZ Radio.
Where is the moment we need it the most? You kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. And tell me your blue skies fade to gray, and tell me your passion's gone away, and I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low. You're faking a smile with the coffee to go. And tell me your life's been way offline. You fall into pieces every time, and I don't need no carrying on. 'Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie. You're working a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day, the camera don't lie. You're coming back down and you really don't mind. You had a bad day. You had a bad day. Well, you need a blue sky holiday. The point is they laugh at what you say, and I don't need no carrying on. You had a bad day, you're taking one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie. You work at a smile and you go for a ride. 'Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie, you work and a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day, you see what you like, and how does it feel? One more time, you had a bad day, you had a bad day.
In the town where I was born lived a man who sailed to sea, and he told us of his life in the land of submarines. So we sailed up to the sun till we found the sea of green, and we lived beneath the waves in our yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. And our friends are all aboard, many more of them live next door, and the band begins to play. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. As we live a life of ease, every one of us has all we need. Sky of blue and sea of green in our yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We
Welcome back to the Deep End on BVZ Radio. I'm DJ POOL.
And I am KRONO.
I just played a playlist of songs that related to a marine biologist who started with a rough time as an intern. But through her promotion, she went on to research a phenomenon with her yellow submarine and discovered a special pearl that allowed her to control the motion of water, which she used for surfing and found out the hard way it was not easy. And that led to her wiping out many times. So, you said how Wendy was about to tell Kevin everything, right?
Yes, she explained to him that she discovered the pearl on an expedition and it allows her to control the motion of the ocean and communicate with fish. He was incredibly impressed and talked about how she should show this information to everyone in the lab with an event sponsored by him. She was ecstatic, for she was finally getting the recognition she deserved. However, in the morning, she was polishing her surfboard when she noticed the pearl was missing. She looked around for it, even returning to the beach, thinking she left it there. But then it dawned on her that the only one other person who would have known of its whereabouts is Kevin.
That weasel! I knew there was something off about him. So what happens next?
That's going to have to wait. My oxygen tank is low.
Your head is above the water. Why do you need a new tank now?
It's simpler to get it as soon as possible, so I'm not stranded. May I climb in?
Yeah, sure, there's enough room in here.
Okay, let me just...
Hey, careful, you're rocking the boat.
I'm almost there.
Wait, whoa.
Wait, okay, I'm in. Whew. You really need to work on your balance. This looked a lot smaller on the outside.
That's why she's called the DW TARDIS. Alright, let's get to shore.
As a reminder, this is the Deep End
on BVZ Radio.
Welcome back to the Deep End on BVZ Radio. I am KRONO.
And I am DJ POOL.
We last left off with Wendy Tadal.
Title.
And how she started as an unpaid intern for a marine biology research lab until she was promoted by the head researcher, Kevin, who later became her boyfriend. And with her new position, she went on an expedition which led her to discovering an artifact that allowed her to control the motion of the ocean and communicate with fish. And after testing it for so long, hiding it from public view, she decided to tell Kevin about it. And he promised her a special event in her honor. But when she woke up the next morning, the artifact
was stolen by Kevin! Right?
Well, since he was the only other person who could have known about the pearl, she immediately tried calling him, but he never picked up. Shortly after, she got a message from the lab telling of an event hosted by the head researcher, Kevin, where he will unveil a new treasure he discovered on an expedition of his own. So with pain in her heart, she rushed over to the lab to confront Kevin about the work he was giving himself credit for. When she saw him backstage, she ran up to him demanding an explanation, but security grabbed her, asking who she is. And Kevin said she was just an intern and she didn't belong there. So security dragged her away as she stared at Kevin with tears in her eyes, while he never glanced back at her once.
Well, that was a long and depressing way of saying yes, he stole it. So, what became of Wendy?
She was dropped off outside and told to go home. So she slowly started to head home, but she wasn't ready to call it quits just yet. She decided to climb up the building and peek through the window to see what Kevin was planning. In watching and listening, she found out he was going to use the orb to create a path down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench to take all of the life there and use them to create fish-human hybrid soldiers, using the interns as the human test subjects, and all of the higher-ups agreed with this idea. That's why they hire the interns.
That's just awful. How did they get away with it for so long?
Kevin made a deal with an army general to create new super soldiers, any means necessary. So that put him under their protection. With Wendy discovering the truth of this vile lab she once respected, she knew she might be the only one that can stop them. So she snuck onto the boat they used to head to the trench. Kevin went to the front of the deck and concentrated on the orb. He created a violent whirlpool that started to tunnel down to the bottom, right in the middle of the ocean goddess's kingdom. Yes. Despite her best efforts to repel it, the pearl shares some of her power, so she wasn't able to stop it from reaching her. As Kevin was very close to finally reaching the bottom, Wendy ran up behind him and slapped the pearl out of his hands and into the water, allowing the whirlpool to dissipate. But because of the size of it, it caused violent waves to hit the boat and send everyone overboard into the water, causing all of them to pass out.
And they all drowned the end?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. So where did everyone go?
When Wendy awoke, she found herself in a bright place with a dark sky. Upon further inspection, she thought she saw fish flying in the air, but then she quickly realized she was underwater, surrounded by an air bubble. She walked, and the bubble moved along with her. She walked around till she found a palace, and after entering, she saw MM herself, and was perplexed. MM told her how she had been watching her for a while, and believed her to be a true friend of the ocean. So she decided to give her the pearl. She didn't expect it to be stolen, however, but since Wendy saved her kingdom from certain doom, she decided that Wendy will become the true ruler of the pearl. So with her goddess magic, she fused the pearl into Wendy's soul, allowing her to use its abilities whenever she wishes.
Well, I'm glad for her. But what about Kevin and the others?
Wendy had actually asked the same question, and MM showed her how the residents of the ship were all turned into various fish, not hybrids, just fish. Kevin, however, she planned a very special punishment for him. She turned him into a swordfish hybrid. However, instead of it being a clean transformation like others, she mismatched parts of his body. He'd have the eyes replaced with the normal swordfish eyes, but then, instead of having the long nose, instead it was his left index finger that became elongated and sharp. His left leg was turned into the tail of a fish, while his right leg remained unchanged, causing him to be imbalanced. His teeth were replaced with a mixture of swordfishes and normal ones. His right arm turned into a simple fin, and lastly, his lungs were replaced with gills, not allowing him to climb on land anymore. In short, he became an ugly monstrosity.
Well, now it matches his insides.
MM left him, wandering the ocean aimlessly, forever. Though Wendy was initially freaked out, she wasn't going to criticize her. And with that, she was sent back to the surface. Using her newfound powers, she traveled back to her apartment to grab her surfboard.
She really wants to go surfing after all of that?
She found her surfboard helps her direct the motion of the waves. Anyway, with her surfboard in hand, she went back to the lab to put an end to the madness.
Pause. It's playlist time.
Alright, fine. What's the list this time?
Glad you asked. The order is Gives You Hell by the All American Rejects, We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister, and Roar by Katy Perry. In the Deep End on BVZ Radio.
I wake up every evening with a big smile on my face, and it never feels out of place. And you're still probably working at a 9-to-5 pace. I wonder how bad that tastes when you see my face. Hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. When you walk my way, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. Now where's your picket fence, love? And where's that shiny car? And did it ever get you far? You never seem so tense, love. I've never seen you fall so hard. Do you know where you are? And truth be told, I miss you. And truth be told, I'm lying. When you see my face, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. When you walk my way, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. If you find a man that's worth the damn and treats you well, then he's a fool, you're just as good to me. And here's all your lies. You can look me in the eyes with the sad, sad look that you wear so well. When you see my face, I'll forget you hell, I'll forget you hell. When you ride my way, I'll forget you hell, I'll forget you hell. When you hear this song and sing along, but you never tell. When you're a fool, I'm just as well, I'll forget you hell. When you hear this song, I hope that it will give you hell. You can sing along, I hope that it puts you through hell. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. We've got the right to choose it. There ain't no way we'll lose it. This is our life. This is our song. We'll fight the powers that beat us. Don't pick on destiny, 'cause you don't know us. You don't belong. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Oh, you're so condescending. Your goal is never ending. We don't want nothing, not a thing from you. Your life is tried and jaded, boring and confiscated. If that's your best from We'll right, yeah, free, yeah, fight, yeah, see, We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. No way. We'll rise, yeah, free, yeah, fight, yeah, see, We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Just to try and make us. We're not gonna take it. Come on. No, we ain't gonna take it. You're worthless. We're not gonna take it anymore. No trouble, give me 20. We're not gonna take it.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up.
Welcome back to the Deep End. I just played a playlist relating to Wendy, a marine biologist that had her research and special treasure stolen by her now ex, Kevin. She discovered the truth of the lab she had been working for and was the only one who could stop them. So, on a boat she snuck on, she caught Kevin off guard and accidentally, or intentionally, plunged him and herself into the ocean, where she got rewarded by an ocean goddess, and he got exactly what was coming to him. And now she's back at the lab to, what is she there for exactly?
asked her to free the remaining fish in the lab, and to prevent any accidents like that from happening ever again.
Makes sense. But before we get into that, I, accidentally dropped my keys in the water.
When?
Just before, I think between Roar and We're Not Gonna Take It. They're, somewhere down there.
Where?
You know, there. Between the rocks.
Which rock? This rock?
No, that rock.
This one?
No, that rock.
DJ, there are many rocks down here.
Okay, do you see that shiny part right there?
There are also many shiny parts.
Alright, forget it. I'll just dive in after it then. Just follow me in case something bad happens, like last time.
Very well. As a reminder, this is the Deep End.
Only on BVZ Radio. Welcome back to the Deep End on BVZ Radio. I'm DJ POOL.
And I am KRONO. We last left off with Wendy Tudal.
Shut. Sorry, continue.
Wendy Tudal, and how she got duped by her boyfriend Kevin, because he stole a precious pearl belonging to an ocean goddess. So she tried to get it back, but finds out that the lab she has been working for only hired her and other interns to be used as test subjects. So she prevents Kevin from using the power of the pearl, but the waves caused by it sends them both into the ocean. She got rewarded by the goddess but Kevin became cursed into a horrible disfigured monster.
Deserved.
Anyway, Wendy returned to the lab to free the captive fish and reveal the truth to the other interns.
So how'd she do it?
Well, actually, when she broke into the lab, she found she had been gone for a month, and she was unfortunately too late to stop the experiments. Every fish and every intern was combined into fish hybrids.
Oh no, so she failed?
Though she wasn't able to save them, she wasn't going to allow this to happen ever again. So she shut down the machines and deleted the research files. Then she took the captive hybrids straight to the ocean, where they swam as far as they could. When the researchers found out what happened, they immediately started preparing to get the hybrids back. Any means necessary. However, the hybrids started banding together with the other marine life to protect themselves against the oppressive researchers. So what was about to transpire was an all-out war.
Surf versus turf. And I'm guessing Wendy sided with the sea?
Actually, she was against the idea of war entirely. She just wanted the experimentation to stop. And if the marine life won, they might start trying to take over the land. So she had to go and stop them. As the war was about to start, she summoned an influx of waves to separate the two sides. She told the researchers that the sea folk just want to be left alone. Then she told the sea folk that fighting is not going to solve any issue. It's only going to create more. The sea folk stood down, but the researchers weren't as easily convinced. So she used her waves to wreck their ships and safely bring them back to shore.
Well, that's dumb. Won't they just come back?
They did, many times actually. But each time they did, Wendy would be there to thwart their plans, while also keeping an eye on the sea folk to make sure they don't try anything funny. One day, however, the researchers pulled out their secret weapon. When Wendy came by to see what they were up to, she was shocked to find Kevin there with cybernetic attachments. Though she tried to stop him with her waves, he was able to swim right through them, making her realize he was going to be an actual threat.
Before we get into the epic battle that we also want to hear, it's song time.
Now?
Yes, now. And since she's against the idea of war, then what's a more perfect song than War by Edwin Starr? In the Deep End on BVZ Radio.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
to me. Oh, I despise. 'Cause it means destruction of innocent lives. War means tears to thousands of mothers when their sons go off to fight and lose their lives. I said war. Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely. Get sad again.
War.
Oh, Lord.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Listen to me.
War.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
War.
Friend only to the undertaker. Oh, this is enemy to all things. The thought of war blows by me. War is caused unrest within the younger generation. Induction, then destruction. Who wants to die? Oh, war. Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Said.
War.
Oh, yeah.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Listen to me. It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker. Got one friend, that's the undertaker. Oh, has shattered many young men's dreams. Made him disabled, bitter and mean. Life is much too short and precious. It's been fighting wars each day. War can't give life, it can only take it away. Oh, war! Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Say it again.
War.
Oh, Lord.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Listen to me.
War.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker. Friend only to the undertaker. Please, Bobby, understand. Here's got no place for them today. They say we must fight to keep our freedom, but Lord knows there's got to be a better way. Oh, wow, God, y'all.
What is it good for?
You tell me. Say it.
War.
Good God, now.
What is it good for?
Stand up and shout it.
Nothing.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker. Oh, friend only to the undertaker.
Welcome back into the deep end on BVZ Radio. I'm DJ POOL.
And I am Kron.
I just got done with playing a song that relates to how Wendy, who is a marine biologist, by the way, turned surfing superhuman, long story, feels about the concept of war between the heartless researchers and the forcefully made sea folk. And, well, in short, she doesn't like it.
Hey, DJ, could I trouble you to fetch me a soft pretzel again? I'm strangely hungry for one.
I told you surrounding yourself by ocean water was not good for your stomach. But yeah, I'll go and get one for you. How much is it? Like $3.50?
I think the price increased to $5.
$5 for a whatever. Yeah, I'll get it for you. But you owe me for this. And I'll tell Xander you said hi. As a reminder, this is the Deep End
On BVZ Radio.
Welcome back to the Deep End on BVZ Radio. I am Kron. And I am DJ POOL. Last we left off with Wendy, correct?
Correct. She was a marine biologist, but she discovered a special pearl designed by an ocean goddess, and it gave her special powers. But her boyfriend at the time, Kevin, sold the pearl and her research, and tried to use it to create an army of fish hybrid soldiers. But she stopped him, and was given the pearl, which was now infused with her soul, whereas Kevin got turned into a disfigured fish monster. Wendy went back to the research lab to free the test subjects and prevented a war between the researchers and the sea folk. But Kevin is back with cybernetic enhancements, this making him the most formidable foe she has had to face so far.
Still no match for her, though, right?
Well, Kevin's new enhancements made it extremely difficult to deal with him, at least in her normal way. But she noticed that he had some exposed wires, so if she could just get close to him and cut them, that would weaken him severely. So she made a whirlpool to circle around him, and then when he was caught off guard, she sped past him and yanked the wires out, making him lose his enhanced strength and endurance. She pushed him to the sea folks, who took him away to be locked up. The researchers finally admitted defeat and stopped trying to come after the sea folk, and she mostly stayed near shores of different beaches to make sure no one tried to cause any major harm to the ocean's sea life.
Okay. Nice ending, but few questions. 1, did Kevin stay locked up forever? 2, did the researchers really give up? Because they seemed pretty adamant. And 3, did she ever end up marrying, I don't know, a pirate king?
Firstly, Kevin found ways to break out to cause a nuisance to Wendy, but without his augmentations, he was only a minor issue. Now, secondly, the researchers did in fact not fully give up. They were just deciding to take more time to devise a plan that would actually stop her. And lastly, no. After Kevin, she was pretty much done with dating at the moment, and she was perfectly fine with doing that.
Well, I'm glad. Then I guess it's time for one last song. Wendy's favorite. Coming up, Dancin' by Aaron Smith, the KRONO remix version. In the Deep End on BVZ Radio.
Get up on the floor, dancing all night long. Get up on the floor, dancing to the break of dawn. Get up on the floor, dancing to the break of dawn. Get up on the floor, dancing all the time. My baby, you on my mind, and I don't know why, but the feeling is fine. Can't you see your honey? You are for me. Oh, we were meant to be.
Welcome back to the Deep End. I'm DJ POOL.
And I am KRONO.
I just played the favorite song of Wendy Tidal. Yes, I said it right this time. A marine biologist who became a superhuman surfer that fights an ugly fish man named Kevin and heartless researchers to protect marine life. And with that, I have some bad news to share. Kraken and I have been talking about this for a while, and we've decided we are going to cancel our show. I'm sorry if that upsets you all, but we feel it's best for the both of us if we stop making these.
DJ, don't misinform them. Our show is only canceled next week for spring break. We are continuing our shows after that.
So what if I left a few minor details? And if you're wondering what next week's show is, well, it'll be a change of pace, but you'll have to be there to see it. If you want a slight hint, let's just say that if you're used to my voice being the voice of the music and you're used to his voice being the voice of the stories, well, get ready to have your perception of reality altered.
What in the world are you talking about?
No spoilers.
Whatever. And with that, we've come to the end of our time.
Oh, shoot, you're right. Well then, I guess it's time to wrap things up.
He's DJ POOL.
And he's Kraken.
KRONO.
Whatever. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m., except for next week, of course. This was The Deep End.
Only on BVZ Radio.